And if people are in high risk, they shouldn't be in school. They should be doing things remotely. Just because Donald Trump wants to take a risk with people who go to bars or beaches, those of us who have spent our life teaching kids are not going to take a risk with kids or with our members' lives. Remote and hybrid are really the only two ways you can reopen schools safely. You got to delay school opening because if you don't have the mask, how are you going to be able to do this? There's a huge difference between working in Walmart and working in a school. You know, even a situation like Florida, where it was pretty clear that schools should not reopen, and where Miami schools did not reopen because you had people who were courageous and who were willing to defy DeSantis's denials.
And why are they closing now?
Martha, they're closing now because what the city said, and frankly, what lots of other places are also seeing, is a huge skyrocketing increase.
Okay, now you're not listening to me. What they're telling us, though, is that the wisest scientific move is to have children in school.
Is that they're trying to figure out a regional way of opening and closing like they did after
they
the
don't
Jewish
need to close.
holidays.
That's the point.
In the
They
middle
don't need to close is the point.
Martha,
that when you hit that, it says a measurement established by the teachers union over the summer in order to reach an agreement to reopen in the first place was a 3% threshold.
The mayor set the 3% threshold. What the teachers union did in New York City afterwards was to say these are the safeguards that we need and this is the testing we need.
Given that, all of these experts and scientists say that children are safer in school. It's worked across Europe. It's worked across the UK. They never closed their schools during their second spike, and now they're in recovery. They're down 10%, and the kids are not missing out on their education.
What they did in Europe and what they did in New Zealand is that they had national leadership that closed, that did masks, that actually closed the bars, that did some of those things, including the stimulus.
Yeah, given all that, they still say the kids are safer in school.
They're connected, Martha.
The number's rising, but the kids are safer in school.
And so after hospitals, I think we have schools that reopen, that we can reopen elementary schools in particularly, and schools for kids with special needs safely when we have the testing.
Members of that 25,000-strong union voted in the majority to stay at home for at least another 2 days to defy Chicago Public Schools' orders to return to the classroom. Does the AFT stand 100% behind the Chicago union?
So, of course, we stand 100% behind the Chicago union.
Is this school year probably not going to have full school openings?
Well, so I'm glad you asked that question, Chuck, because what does full school opening mean? If you do 6 feet of physical distancing, you're essentially saying in a school, you're going to have about 50% or 60% of people in there at any one time, not 100%.
If we get the testing, the vaccine prioritization, and these mitigation strategies, 85% of them are comfortable being in school. So essentially, we got to put our money where our mouth is, which is if it's really important to do, we've got a roadmap. Let's make it happen.
But that's a lot of ifs.
Everyone is asking when and how are we getting our students, our children, back into those classrooms full time?
So full time is going to depend upon what's going on with physical distancing and what's going on with the variants. And I just hope this is not a rush to put in twice as many deaths in a place where we're really starting to get things reopened.
I'm surprised to hear you think that this is a rush.
The American Federation of Teachers president, Randi Weingarten, says the union is reserving judgment for now.
Why not trust the CDC's guidance?
We have to figure out in all these schools right now, which have been set up for 6 feet physical distancing, how this is going to work.
You recently pushed back on the CDC's new social distancing guidelines for schools from 6 feet to 3. Why?
Because, because Trust is actually earned.
You're going to have everyone back in September, 100% in class 5 days a week?
I hope so. I would hope that Fox would be just as focused on let's get rid of the misinformation about what happened in this election. This election was free.
Come on, Randy. Come on. This is not the topic that we're here to talk about.
Why not tomorrow? I mean, literally, why not tomorrow? If 90% of your teachers are vaccinated, if we know what we know now, why not just go back to school in person tomorrow?
Well, frankly, 97% of the schools are open for in-person learning.
Not 5 days a week.
About 60% of them are. The real key right now is that about 2/3 of our parents, particularly black and brown parents, don't trust it.
The teachers union was back on TV today, and she admitted just a few hours ago that the White House did ask. So what specific language on reopening schools would you like to see us put in our CDC policy? Watch this.
They asked us for language, and we gave them language when they asked us for it. We need to, bring back our masks for schools. So the bottom line is we're going to keep kids safe. We're going to keep our members safe, and we're going to try to open up schools.
Now, the union leader says universal mask wearing must be in place in order to keep schools open.
Randi Weingarten and the American Federation of Teachers had previously opposed the idea of mandating teachers to be vaccinated against the virus. But after visiting schools throughout the country, she said the union is now reconsidering it.
Everybody yearns for normalcy. You're not going to have normalcy in the middle of an Omicron tsunami.